Hello, everyone. This is Ruth Ratliff again with conversations bridging the science and spirituality of sound, voice, and vibration. There's something about hearing your own voice reflected back to you, not as expression, but as information. We're so used to thinking of our voices as something that we do, something that we shape or control or even judge. But what if your voice is actually quietly revealing what's happening within you beneath the surface? So today's conversation sits right at the edge where science meets something much more subtle. And today I'm joined by Master Energy Healing Practitioner Kate Simpson. And in this video, we're doing something a little different. I'll be receiving a live scan of my own voice, and Kate and I will explore what shows up, and she'll help us unpack and discover what it might be telling us physically, emotionally, and energetically. If you have ever wondered whether your voice carries more than just sound, whether it might actually hold patterns, imprints, or even clues about your internal state, then you're in the right place. And you won't want to miss this. So I'm looking forward to our conversation. Welcome, Kate.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm really excited to share this information today with you. This is going to be a fun exploration as we do this live. I have been working in the energy healing world for a number of years, and this topic really intrigued me when I started to dive in and learn more about sound and frequency. Because of my background as an energy healing practitioner, I started by learning that your words and your emotions are energy, and that energy can get suppressed or trapped in the body. And when we release that, your body can do what it's designed to do, and that's rebalance and repair itself. And as part of my training, that's what I do. I support and help people with that release of energy. And along the way, I started to just explore other modalities. And I started to understand that for gosh, generations and generations have been using sound and frequency as a form of healing. And that's really where my exploration kind of began with discovering more with the AO scan technology, which is a modern science technology, a software we're going to demonstrate today that will be able to run this scan of your voice and be able to share all kinds of information because energy is information. And so we're going to actually decode that a little bit more today based on your voice. So, are you ready and excited to get your voice scanned?
Definitely. I know we've been planning this for a while. It took us a while to get together, but we're finally here. And yeah, and I just I connected with Kate. Gosh, what was it? How long ago? About over a year ago or something like that.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, and I was like, oh my gosh, this is a woman who speaks after my own heart. It's just there's something so I don't know what to say about it. When you think about your voice not just being a form of expression, but truly a what did I can't remember her name now. She called it a holographic expression, a holographic imprint of your
Mm,
state of being, literally, with the frequency inside. So that there's something magical about that.
yes. Agreed, agreed.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, so it's amazing because when I started exploring this, what I found was something that was so useful to the everyday person to be able to really dive in and explore what's going on under the surface. And it's a tool that really can just help guide people to understanding their body better, understanding their emotions better, and to be able to actually do something about it using music and sound to support the body and allow the body to do what it's divinely designed to do, and that's heal itself. So this is a
Yes.
really special way that we can use this technology to support and help people. So this is a lot of fun. This is called the AO scan technology, and it is a bioresonance scanner and a frequency generator. So it is a software that has many programs and can support people in a lot of ways. What attracted me to this initially was what we're going to focus on today, which I think is the foundation. And it's a program called Inner Voice. And this is a program that will record you speaking. It'll record the sound of your voice as you're speaking. And it's going to start to analyze your voice across thousands of frequencies. And it's going to map it out using musical notes and actually start to generate some information for us. And that's what we'll show you, and I'll walk you through as well today. So I'm going to share the screen here. Okay, can you see this all right?
Yes.
Okay, wonderful. So again, this is a bioresonance scanner, which means that it can measure the wavelengths of energy coming off your body, and it typically compares them to what's called blueprint frequencies. So it's not a medical device, just to be clear, but it's a way to just measure energy and compare that to what's established, considered normal or healthy in a healthy vibrational range. And so it allows us to look at what might be vibrating in excess or too high, or suppressed, too low, and to help guide you in making health decisions for yourself to bring things back into balance. So there's various types of scans that it offers. We're going to be focusing in on this inner voice today, which I use this every single day. I do this for myself every day. I use this on my clients that I'm working with. It is a wonderful tool, and we'll dive into all the specifics. But to start out, it's going to record your voice. You're going to speak for about 10 seconds. And Ruth, it does not matter what you say during this time. You're just going to be recording your voice speaking. Now, I do suggest starting by centering and speaking your name. So I am Ruth Radcliffe, and then say anything at all that you would like for that 10 seconds. Now, I will give you a countdown before we begin. I'll say 3, 2, 1, go, just in case there's some delay with the internet. And after I say go, you can start by stating your name and then say anything at all that you would like for those 10 seconds. When the image on the screen changes to like a human, female, then it's scanning you. You're done recording, but I'll just kind of give you a wave and you'll
Okay.
know to stop talking. That way you can just have a visual signal. Okay.
All right. That sounds
All right.
great. I'm ready.
Let's do this. Okay. So here we go. 3, 2, 1, go.
Hello, I'm Ruth Ratliff, and I am so excited to be here today with Kate doing my AO inner voice scan.
Beautiful. Now, I don't know how loud this is for your audience or if you can hear that, but essentially for the next about 45 seconds, the software is now analyzing your voice, and it's doing it across like 12 octaves, and it's just going to map it out like on a musical scale. This is where I don't have a musical background, so but essentially it's going to look for the top frequencies in your voice that are in excess. There'll be 3 of them in excess and 1 of them that is suppressed. So oscillating too high or too low. And that's what it's choosing as you're balancing harmonics. Now, I'm going to just explain how this looks. And the first thing I'm going to do is press this report button. Now, if we look here where it says the word dominant and this gray bar here, there's a couple of notes. There's the A sharp, the G, the A, and the D. So out of all the wavelengths and frequencies that were analyzed and the musical notes that it was laid out across, those are the top 4 notes that are out of range. They're imbalanced. Okay. They're showing up that it's just too high or too low. So the first three are too high. And the D, this last one where it says center low, that is a suppressed note. Now, a lot of our emotions that we feel are expressed in our voice. And oftentimes, subconsciously, we have deeply suppressed or emotions that we hold on to or bottled up, and we don't even realize it sometimes. And that's where a lot of these emotions can show up in that low note as well. Now, underneath where it says support in each of these colored boxes, these are what are your balancing harmonics. So these are going to help to bring you back into balance. Now, the E is actually balancing out the A sharp. The C sharp is balancing out the G, the D sharp, the A, and the G sharp, the D. Okay, so those are your balancing harmonics. Now, as a simple tool without getting into too much detail, what I do every day is I run this scan of myself, and then I just press this button that says balancing harmonics, and it is going to start playing music that is embedded with frequencies to help bring some of those excesses back in line and that suppressed note back up. And this is truly custom sound therapy. And we all know that like music can evoke, incredible amounts of emotion, whether that be joy and gratitude and peacefulness, but can also invoke feelings of, fear or, angst and that type of thing. So this is creating music that is going to bring you into a balanced state. And so for me, listening to my customized harmonics each day, I feel a sense of calm. I feel oftentimes an alertness. I feel there's times where it just helps me zero in and focus. I've had other clients share that it evoked all kinds of emotions that they just needed to express and couldn't. I've had people tell me that it sparks creativity, and all of a sudden they're like, "Oh, I need to go do this thing," and it's as they're listening to this music. So there's a just so many benefits because it's just again working with your emotions and your physical body. So when we play this button, this balancing harmonics, it's going to rotate through each of these four notes. And each note is about 3 minutes of music. So all totaled, listening is a little over 12 minutes. Now, there's a lot going on with the surface. I'm going to play it just briefly so people can hear it. But when you listen to this, these are your balancing harmonics. So this is going to resonate most with you in this moment. Okay. It's okay for me to listen and hear it. It's kind of like I'm hearing a song that's, as you listen, it's like your favorite song. And for me, it's just music, So, but my frequencies resonate strongly with me. So just to play a little bit, you'll start to hear. And let's see if that. And we can switch through each of them. Changes. Now, each of the songs are embedded with frequencies. And as you listen, you want to listen with headphones on,
I
ideally.
was just gonna ask that question. Okay, yeah.
Yeah. And the reason you want to is because the frequencies and the delivery of that uses a binaural beats principle where each ear receives a different frequency. And so you're getting additional benefits when you're listening with those headphones on. And in fact, if you look at these colored lines as they light up on this image, really what that's saying is that it's impacting different areas within the brain. So the center high is that corpus callosum area of the brain, the left side, the right side of the brain, and the lower brain stem.
Mm.
So there's a lot going on with this music, frequency wise, and how it's supporting the body. So you do want to listen with headphones on, but I just played it so you could hear it. And if you ever don't want the actual music itself, tonal therapy is just the vibration, just the frequency that's embedded into the songs. So that for some people is an option, but again, you get more benefit by playing with the music and the balancing harmonics. But for some people, it's more appropriate to just do the tone for that reason. So now what's beautiful about this is you just want to listen to this. And again, you're gonna feel everybody feels different things. I just hear so many joyful responses when people are listening like that. They just love the music. They were able to center themselves. They felt calm, they felt focused, they felt creative, all these different things. And at nighttime, people will run this and they're able to just shut their brain down and go to sleep. So that has a beautiful benefit as well. So there's a lot to it. Now, what's also included is this beautiful report. And we're not going to probably be able to go through everything, but this is specific again to the date and time that we ran your report. Here is an explanation of inner voice so that you have that in a little bit more detail. So this talks about how it analyzes it across those 12 notes, and then how to use it. And then again, it maps things out on a scale for you if you want to look at that. But then each note that was out of range has its own report. So note G, okay, this is where we can dive in to how sound in your voice leaves an imprint on your body. Okay, this is the just my favorite part of this. Now, in this case, this is indicating that there's a fear versus confident energy going on. And in note G, these are positive emotions that are associated with this note. These are negative emotions associated with this note. And in these darkened areas are the parts of the body that they can be affecting you. Now, this part of the report, I don't spend a lot of time with. Different people spend a lot of time on different parts of the report.
Right.
I look at this very generally and very quickly, and I just to say, okay, positive wise, do I feel like I need to support myself in those positive areas? Yes or no? And in these negative areas, have I been feeling them lately? And I might just ask myself that question. And if that's the case, as you listen to the music, it's going to help you process the emotions that you're feeling that you may or may not know that are there. But I just look at this as kind of an overview, rather than do I have each of these emotions. I just am kind of looking at that, or I might be looking at, okay, am I feeling some soreness in my shoulder or back? Is there an emotional component that maybe could be affecting me? So
Hey,
this
hey,
is general.
okay. If I was just going to pop in, I thought it might be helpful for people because there's a lot of information here.
Mhm.
If I had questions on my particular scan to just pop in and see if we could,
Yeah.
clear if that works for you. Okay, great.
Yes.
So when we're doing this, we're saying, so note G. So it's entirely possible that, say, next week, in a few days, G would not come up again. Is that fair
Correct.
to say? Okay, fine. So it's really kind of like on a day-to-day shift because your body shifts day to day, right? So I'll just share with everybody that I'm just getting over a pretty nasty virus. And yeah, I was feeling, I just came off of a 3-day expo, which was extremely tiring, but very wonderful, but very, very tiring at the prep and everything. So yeah, I got sick right after that. Really wanted to, come back home and just dive right in. And I had to be in bed. Couldn't do a darn thing. So yeah, I was impatient, angry. I had reduced ability to experience humor. Probably was felt diminished capacity for joy. Yeah, yes, effort to break free from stressful external situations. Yes. So when I'm looking at this particular, these two, positive and negative, yeah, I had those, but did I also have some of the other within that, today? Yeah, I did. So how is, I guess what I want to ask you is, what is G really telling me personally right now in this particular scan? What is the note G telling me? Is it telling me that I have more negative than positive, or, or is it just giving, these are general attributes, negative and positive attributes of this particular note?
Yeah.
How
So
is
this is,
that relating
yeah.
to me specifically in this scan?
Yeah, so these are general attributes specific to G. And what it's telling you is note G for right now for you is a note that is imbalanced. So these might show up more prevalent for you based on your energy today. Okay, so this is not something that you're going to look at for, tomorrow or even later tonight. This could shift. Your
Mm,
energy is always moving and changing and vibrating. And so this is a current picture of this moment in time. And
okay.
so I look at this from a general state of these are positive and negative emotions associated with G. G is out of range for you.
It's out of balance.
It's out of balance.
Okay, got it. Okay, great.
Yes. Now, as we move down, the balancing harmonic is the C sharp. And this is where we look to say, okay, what are we going to do about that? The C sharp is going to be the music that you're going to listen to in the song. That's going to be part of your balancing harmonics.
Mm,
Now, this is all about energy and frequency. We've analyzed your voice, but they've also, as a supportive thing for the average person, sharing that color and light is also sound and energy and has frequency and vibration. And so they're sharing that, okay, to support you from this imbalanced state, we want to use the note C sharp. C sharp also has a color that we can use to support with color therapy. So there's glasses you can purchase that have these colors, or you could simply wear the color that has like a red orange color clothing. Look at a picture that has these colors in it and take in something visual that can support that color. And that energy will also be supportive. And this color also supports frequencies of enthusiasm and happiness, creativity. So the color can help, the music can help by listening. And then also sometimes I'll just really make an affirmation out of these positive emotions. And I will just say, you know what, today I'm choosing happiness and creativity. And I might start using positive words to help shift my energy as
just
well.
support. Yeah, very good.
Yeah,
I'm just looking at
yeah,
this quickly and I'm noticing potential causes, adenovirus. Interesting, it picked that up.
yeah,
Because I mean,
yeah,
that's what that's an upper respiratory thing, and that's what it was, or is.
yeah.
So nervous exhaustion. Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah, I would say I was exhausted. Life planning conflict. I would absolutely say that I'm kind of in betwixt and between right now with my business and where to go from here, and things are kind of shift. So that's kind of interesting.
Yeah.
Um, Always fear, right? I don't like seeing parasites down at the bottom, though. How accurate is this for parasites that you know of?
So this is what's important to remember. Once again, this is not
Okay,
diagnostic.
got it.
So I don't want people to look at these potential causes and
Okay.
completely freak out. Okay. However, what it's indicating is vibrations of energy that are showing up. What I did was I ran a voice scan and a vitals scan. And the vitals is the frequency of your blood biology. So that was also measured. So when we look at these parasites, there are vibrations in your energy field that match those parasites.
Hmm,
Does it mean you have a parasite infection? Maybe. This is where, when I have people look at the reports, it is beneficial to look at trends over time.
yeah.
So, energy typically shows up before like a physical symptom, or you could be in the middle of symptoms if you feel this kind of stuff all the time. Like you said, fear is a constant. Life planning is not just something that happened in this moment, that's been going on.
Right.
So, these are things that are showing up the potential causes from your blood biology. This is where these viruses and parasites are showing up. It's something to look at. It definitely recognized the virus, and you've been experiencing upper respiratory issues, so
Yeah.
that's very present. So parasites, it might be something to look at and say, you know what? Maybe when I'm recovered a little bit more with this virus, maybe I consider doing a parasite cleanse
Hmm,
to support my body. So
right.
again, not diagnostic, but at the same time can give you hints as to what you can do to support your body for better health. Maybe you do need
Information.
to go,
Yeah.
yeah, it's information. And
Right.
maybe you need to go to see a doctor. Maybe you go to see a naturopathic doctor. Maybe you just say, you know what, I'm going to take some supplements. You can make any health decisions you want, but this is something that's showing up vibrationally in your blood biology, and it happens to match that type of parasite. So
Hey,
I
and
looked at it over time.
so fabulous. Quick sort of a sidebar here. I do remember you, I mean, you came from having a disease, right? And you basically healed yourself in essence with some of this information, right? Through this system, I think.
So,
Is that
yeah,
true?
so I had an autoimmune disorder years ago and used both Eastern and Western medicine at the time. I didn't know a lot about energy healing in that time, but I started exploring how energy healing could support me. I used a naturopathic doctor to help me, and he ran a lot of tests that helped that are tests that the medical system doesn't run, and was able to help guide me to making changes with food, with energy, with emotions, with all of that as part of my healing journey. And then this is something that came into my world a little bit later. And I just, if I had only had this when I was sick, it could have guided me to a quicker healing journey. I absolutely know that it could have supported me in that way.
Yeah.
So how I've used it since then is I spend a whole lot of time where it says imbalances and suggestions. And although these seem sometimes generic, a generic suggestion like under heart, manage stress. Okay, breathe cleaner air, right? This seems like, okay, these are generic health suggestions. But in reality, what this software is doing, it's measuring the wavelengths of your body, your frequency of your blood biology, and then it is prioritizing what your body's asking for. So your body is now prioritizing your heart, liver, and kidneys. And so from here, it's bringing out the suggestions that are most beneficial for you in this moment. How I look at this, because there's a lot of suggestions here. One scan, I look at something that maybe repeats, that's showing a pattern. So in this case, right off the bat, I'm seeing chiropractic just jumped out at me twice, that would
Yes.
be supportive and helpful. Your body's asking for alignment, essentially. So that might be one thing that you could do to support your body and help impact this along with listening to the music. As we go through the rest of the report, I would look for, again, a repeating pattern in each of the notes that shows up.
Oh, like in other words, more incidences of chiropractic adjustments coming up
Yeah,
in the other notes. Gotcha.
yeah, it might as
And
well.
yeah, and what's vital? What does vitals mean, Kate?
So vitals is the frequency of your blood biology. And so these three areas were showing, again, either in excess or suppressed. And these are the top three relating to this note that showed up. So this is where you might need to know yourself a little. If for some reason B3, okay, came up, it could have come up because you just ate a food that has a lot of B vitamins in it. And that maybe because your body's now processing that energy from food is now showing that there's an excess of it.
Uh,
Okay. Or it might be saying, we need B3. We don't have enough. We need support in this area. So this is where you kind of have to look at it again, not diagnostic, but what is my body calling for? This is information. So copper is out of range. So this is something that you can look at again over time and say, okay, do I need to support myself with more? Or is it just something that my body's moving through in the moment? Your body has this incredible ability to handle energy, deal with energy, convert energy. It converts food into energy in your body and it moves things. So this is where we look at this and say, okay, maybe I do need to supplement. Let's see if there's something else that indicates that I need more B vitamins in my diet. And we'll look through the rest of the report and see what starts to show up. Or maybe we wait and run a report maybe 3 days in a row and then say, okay, Was that just something I was dealing with in the moment, or is that something that's consistent in showing up and my body's really asking for some support?
So yeah, this seemed, I'm just like getting right off the bat that this is something that you would need to use consistently every day that to get a real, like a snapshot, as it were, of your general
Yeah.
health. So you could really look for patterns,
Mhm.
for sure. Yeah, I guess it would be more helpful if you could know if it was, in the high range or the low range, and that would be probably very difficult to do. I'm sure you've heard of human bioacoustics, where they print out a graph where each frequency of, like, copper would be, is a frequency, B3 has a frequency, that they'll show in the graph the highs and lows of where you're in and out of balance.
Yeah.
Sherry Edwards' work.
Yeah.
Um, and that I
I
had
can show
a,
you that. We actually have the other scans can go into that into more
oh,
detail.
okay.
Part of
Well,
the
that's, oh, in the other part of this whole system.
Mhm.
Okay, because
Yeah.
that would really be helpful to know, obviously. How
Yeah.
cool is that? But yeah, I had one of those scans a long time ago, and it was amazing how
That sounds incredible.
it was amazing that I had just had blood work maybe a few months before that, and it matched my blood work for the most
Absolutely.
part. Yeah, so this is really so much more than we
Yes.
know. Yeah,
So much more.
thank you.
Absolutely. Yeah. And I'm so glad you shared that because here's the thing. This is an accurate picture of that moment in time. Okay. And so we can, if we know ourselves, look at this picture and this information and make really good decisions for ourselves. If you're not sure what's going on with you, this can give you some insight. And then that's where I recommend doing continuous scans, whether it's daily or once a week. I suggest daily, but I've had clients who have just from doing it like 2 to 3 times working with me and they got their inner voice, been able to say, hey, you know what? I was able to go back and ask my doctor to run some blood work because I saw some things come up in my scan and they ran some blood work. And then the doctors were able to say, hey, you know what? I'm starting to see this pattern with you that we maybe need to make some health changes.
Wow.
Um, so that's the power of this, even if it's not an everyday thing. For me, your energy changes all the time, your emotions, you feel emotions every single day. Even if I don't look at the report, I'm listening to my inner voice balancing harmonics every day. Because again, the act of listening to that sound is now going to help move your energy through sound and vibration and frequency to be supportive. Well, this provides information. The sound therapy actually gives you a tool that you can use to actually help move and support your body. So that's what I love about this. It does both. It's information and an actual tool to help get through that emotional state or that physical state of what's going on.
Beautiful.
So, yeah. So each note that was out of range gets one of these reports. And so you're going to start to see different things. So this is note A sharp. So conflicting beliefs versus congruent beliefs. Again, positive and negative emotions. It's going to give you a supportive color therapy suggestion, and it's going to give you more information. So relating to this next note, we've now got some vitals going on. And so now we're seeing, okay, we had what was that, B3 up here?
Three, yeah.
Now we've got B12 coming up. So the B family is showing up a little bit more. When we look at these emotions here, listening to the frequency music, the harmonics will actually help you process emotions. But as you look at this, okay, what's coming up for me emotionally and how could that be affecting my body? Because your emotions, they say that I believe it was the Center for Disease Control said that like over 80% of what's going on physically appears to have an emotional component. So
Yes.
what your voice is sharing emotionally is very accurate. And so helping to process and move that through the balancing harmonics is incredible. But again, here's some potential causes for maybe why these vitals are out of range. We're seeing vibrations here. So,
Yeah,
um,
I
you know,
definitely have cervical neck pain from two bad car accidents. Yeah, I've had that for decades. That's
Okay.
been in,
Yeah.
just trying to give you some affirmation here for
Yeah.
these results.
Yeah. Incredible.
Probably, yeah, I've struggled with low self-esteem my whole life, uncertain about love. Uncertain about the nature of love, maybe. I don't know. Yeah, I've lost my whole family, so I have, abandonment stuff going on.
Yeah.
I've been told to take coenzyme Q10 by a couple of practitioners,
Okay.
and I'm just trying to say what's correct. Lungs, mold. Yeah, my basement. We have an air freshener in here. My basement is a dirt floor basement, so we've been dealing with mold issues.
Okay.
So that's kind of interesting.
Hmm.
Collagen, yes, minerals. I've been told to increase my minerals and always drink more water. I should have one with, should have a glass right next to me right now. Trace minerals also. Yeah.
Yeah.
So this is all kind of stuff that I'm seeing. It's similar to what I've been hearing from other practitioners and what I know of myself and my history. So
Yeah.
yes.
And I know
Yeah.
none of this about you.
Right. I'm just trying to,
Right?
yeah, just trying to tell the viewers, this is, there's accuracy there. There is some
Yeah.
accuracy, definitely. So it's just fascinating to me. It's really
Yeah.
fascinating.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
so we continue to move down, like same thing. Oops, there we go. So again, positive and negative. We've got gold as your supportive color. Again, emotions here. Uncertain about love has come up twice now.
And
So
self-confidence.
yes,
Yes.
self-confidence. So this could be something you choose to journal on. Again, also listening to the music. When we get done with this recording, I want you to definitely listen to your music and see how that feels and processes for you. We've got B vitamins now coming up again.
Got to
So
take B vitamins, I
yes,
guess.
and they're all different bees, but there's something. So I don't know if your body is now saying, hey, especially, like you said you had some respiratory issues. Maybe your body just needs these extra B vitamins to support you,
And I
energetic,
do have a
physically.
back issue, if a chronic back issue from the time I was very young.
Ah,
So yes, and I have arthritis in two places in my spine as well. Very
okay.
interesting. Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then again, you look at the suggestions, digestion, endocrine system, female reproductive. We're seeing chiropractic come up quite a bit
Yeah,
here.
yeah,
Again,
there is.
trace minerals is coming up again. So these are things where I don't want individuals to get overwhelmed with all these suggestions. I
Right.
say pick, one or two things that you can do right now to support your body, because these are all these things that your body is asking for support.
Hmm.
Uh, but don't feel overwhelmed. Just say, okay, you know what? Maybe I need to make that call and schedule that chiropractic visit. And then maybe I need to just explore like a trace mineral supplement or something like that. So, or maybe for you, it's the B vitamins that's showing up. That, okay, maybe I need to go and do that. My body's really seeming to need that in this moment. I'll share a quick story though. I had, on my scans for a while. And of course, as I said, I do this every day. So I was seeing chiropractic adjustment coming up insanely crazy on my scans. Like it was every suggestion, every note. So I went to the chiropractor and I chose to, on the way to the chiropractor, I did an inner voice. So I did it like literally really close to my appointment time. And the the second time that I ran it, I walked into the chiropractor's office and the main areas that suggested, so it like digestion, chiropractic, reproductive, chiropractic. So those areas, when he adjusted me, those were the exact areas that were out of range. He's like, well, I worked, in my case, it was ears and female reproductive, and then I believe it was something with my liver in that case. So again, different scan results. And the chiropractor is like, yeah, we worked with your ears, your reproductive system, and your liver today. And so these are the physical parts of your body that connect with those organs. And I was like, does it match this? And he was like, what? So it
That's
was
great.
really exciting to kind of see that the chiropractor shared that. And I'm like, does that happen to match what's written here? And
Oh, by the way,
yes.
yeah,
So
no, it's fascinating. There's no doubt about it. Yeah, we are frequency. We are.
we are,
Mm.
we are 100% frequency. Absolutely. So yeah, and now this is the last note is the suppressed note. So this is where a lot of sometimes suppressed emotions can really show up. These are things that are low in your body as well. So again, just different things, emotions. We have different emotions showing up. Vitals again, another
Beats.
B vitamin showing up, viruses, toxicity, food sensitivities. I don't want people to I want people to look at food sensitivities and say, okay, is that something my body doesn't want today, or is that something that I really should avoid? And that's something that, over time you can definitely help determine. Sometimes your body just doesn't want something for a while and you just avoid that. Um, but it's something to definitely look at because how many of us realize that food affects how we feel?
That's right.
And sometimes maybe we're eating something we don't realize that our body is just not processing well. So, yeah, so it's another thing here. So again, liver, pancreas, digestion, and then again, different suggestions for
There's
what you can do.
chiropractor
Yeah.
again.
Yep, it sure is.
Wow.
So now here's something interesting too I'll share. For like my sister, I did a scan with her and what came up was avoid secondhand smoke. And my sister's never been a smoker. She doesn't work in an environment where she's around a lot of smokers, but she was living in a part of the country at the time that I ran the scan that was dealing with the wildfires. And her air quality was very poor, smelled like a camp. She goes, it smells like a campfire all the time when I walk
Oh
outside.
my God.
And so here, this was showing up in her scan. It didn't have the language of wildfire, but it was recognizing smoke. And so it was interesting that that came up in her scan. So
Yeah.
again, not diagnostic, but definitely interpretive. So that's just one program, this inner voice. And what I always say is if you don't want to analyze the reports, which I think are just fascinating, um, you can just play the balancing harmonics, and that alone, you'll feel a physical shift, sometimes very emotionally, and sometimes just a relaxation in the body, a calming of the body. I also enjoy listening to inner voice in the morning when I take a walk or I exercise. That to me really awakens my body and helps with alertness and sharpness as I get ready for my day. And so those are like the practical benefits of listening to the music, but also knowing that you've got this picture of what's going on energetically inside. So that is the inner voice. And again, that's just one of many, many programs that the inner voice has. But to me, this is foundational, and it's the one that I use with my clients. I use with my family, and it's something that you have not only the information but the music to actually help make the positive changes.
Mm.
So yeah,
So I definitely want to listen to this music. I do know that you've given me one other scan, and sometimes when I'm sitting at the computer, I still will listen to it, just to with my earbuds. And one of the tracks particularly really makes me feel pretty good. It
right.
it what it does is gives me more positivity. It
Yeah.
just like, and I know me, I'm a musician, so I mean, I'm well know that music and singing, lighten your mood and raise your vibration and everything. But but this one particular track I noticed really just, there's something about it that just like, oh, my body goes, oh, okay, this just feels really good. Yeah,
Yes, I
yeah.
love it. Yeah. I mean, everything's frequency and vibration and
Mm,
everything's energy. So your body, that makes so much sense to me that there's certain tracks and certain music that just liven up the body and they impact all your organs, your tissues, your glands, your muscles, everything, every aspect of you, not only with, in the emotional component as well. And truly, um, when someone is in a state of stress or anxiousness, nervousness, insecurity, listening to this music as well because it's customized to you. It's going to recognize what's happening, and then listening to the songs that are beneficial for you can also help impact that energy of nervousness or fear, anxiousness, whatever it is. So it's beautiful. Yeah. And just to show you really quickly, I'm going to click to one of my old scans just to show you. We talked about the inner voice today. The vitals is a very detailed, the inner voice vitals is the top things related to each note. So it gave you three different vitals that were out of range and potential causes. When you run an actual vitals scan, you do get a very, very detailed report of what's in and out of range. So from food sensitivities, as you can see, there's a whole lot in this category. So if somebody wants to do a deep dive, they certainly can. But this goes on quite a bit, and I don't want to go too fast because it can, the eye is trying to follow all this. But beyond the food, it looks at different areas of your blood biology, your CBC. And what you're seeing here is green is good and red is out of range. And this is a basic report. It also measures your chakras, your meridians.
Mm.
So the energy flowing through your meridians as well, toxins, you know, bacteria, amino acids, digestive enzymes. It's very, very
Wow.
detailed,
Very comprehensive. Wow.
extremely.
And
And
this is, I'm sorry to interrupt. This is all still from the voice scan?
yeah, so
Wow.
this measured the voice and it measured the frequency of your blood biology. So this can actually be run without the voice, believe it or not, because it's measuring the wavelengths of energy coming from the body. And to share a little bit more, if you go to the enhanced version, this is where it tells you on a number scale if it's too high, which would be an inflammation risk, a number 9, and a number 1 would be diminishing function, so maybe an immune depressed state.
Right.
So there's a whole lot more that it certainly can show you, but that can get really overwhelming. And I always share, like, what is the first step? The first step is voice and the sound frequency music, because that's going to give an immediate shift in change to your energy
Mm,
as you begin to research
mm.
and dive into, okay, how else can I support my body?
Right.
Uh, in what other ways? So,
Beautiful. Wow, it's wonderful. Would you mind unpacking what you just said about it? You don't need, like for me, would you be able to run a scan like that for me? Because you said it doesn't necessarily go off of the voice. What you said it diagnoses or uses the wavelengths. How is it getting my
so
wavelengths?
this is where it uses different things like radionics and scalar wave and Tesla frequencies, a lot of stuff that I'm learning and I don't fully understand the details of it.
Okay.
But when it when we create an energetic profile for you, it now the software can now it has like it's you have your own personal phone number to the AO scan or frequency connection in the quantum world, the quantum
Got it.
universe.
Okay. In the
So what
field. Okay.
yeah, in the field, in the quantum field,
Okay.
the AO scan now knows who you are in the quantum field. Okay. The
Got it.
voice scan is your current voice. Everything that it shares in that report is from your voice. These other scans, because it has that direct connection in the quantum field to you, it can then find you and measure the wavelengths and compare those wavelengths to the established blueprints.
Wow.
And Solex is the company that created this AO scan. They have, I think it's well over 150,000 blueprint frequencies that are in the database, and it can compare information coming from your wavelengths to these blueprint frequencies and generate information to look at.
Mm,
And that again can get really, you can go into quite a rabbit hole of study with that. And what I find is that what are the tools that one can give information, but that can also uh, create a situation where the energy can shift. So as much as we can analyze the body, there's also this part of the frequency or part of the AO scan where we can optimize your frequencies. So when something is too high or too low, when we optimize your frequencies, it's almost like they find what's out of range and they send that frequency back to you in a reverse order. And it works similar to like noise canceling headsets where it cancels out the noise. So even without reading the reports in detail, I scan my body each day and I optimize the frequencies. And so it clears out that noise. And it's just something that's like in my mind, a preventative tool to help clear out any energy that's out of range for me.
Mm,
And I
mm,
focus in on the music. So that's where
mhm.
it gets a lot more technical. Um, but I love this because it's, again, a bioresonance scanner, but also a frequency generator. So you can also choose in this area of Cephi, it's a subtle energy frequency imprinter. That's what that stands for. There is a database of thousands of different frequencies that are rife frequencies, scalar wave energy that you can choose. It's organized in a way where you can choose a symptom that maybe you're experiencing and send yourself a resonant frequency to support healing. So for you, if you came to this area where it says frequency, this is just one of these menus and we hit this menu, you can see there's all kinds of different symptoms and they're all in alphabetical order. But what we could have done when last week, we could have hit and looked for something to deal with respiratory. So we could go down to the R's, or maybe we look up the word lungs, and we can find frequencies that might be supportive and helpful.
Mm.
So yeah. So
Menopause, hot flashes.
yes. So this is lungs breathing,
Yeah, lungs. Yes.
so that,
Yeah, yeah.
you were sick last week or, so um the hot flashes, that's actually part of my initial story with AO scan is I started experiencing night sweats so badly it was disrupting my sleep. And I was very new to this software at the time. I understood the concept, but I found in this Cephi area the hot flashes, and I ran it for about 30 minutes before I went to bed. And I slept through the night. Now, first, it was amazing. It was
That's
amazing.
worth it just right there, Kate. Sold.
I know. And so what I love about this now, what I do is I look at my inner voice and I look at my reports like we did with you. And as we look at the report, I might say, okay, this is telling me to go see a chiropractor, increase trace minerals. But I also might say, you know what, I just want to support my heart today. So in that case, then I can come to Cephi and I can choose a frequency that would support my heart. And then I just send that to myself.
So you
And
send it, and you're sending it to yourself, as you say, in the field, okay,
mhm,
which they're finding way more quantum proof of how our blueprint, as it were, our perfect blueprint is in the field, and you're bringing in frequencies from the field that
mhm.
are rebalancing you essentially. So that's pretty amazing. So these are frequencies that you're not listening to, but these are
Correct.
energetic
Mhm.
frequencies, okay,
Yes,
that affect your
correct.
energy body. And really, that's what we are, right? We're not
Yes,
this. We
we
are
are all
this,
energy.
but we're also that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, you get it 100%. So yeah, you can choose a frequency here that support your energy body and can create, again, clear out that noise and help your cells and your organs resonate with that positive vibration. If it's a symptom, like the right frequencies discovered the mortar oscillating rate, which a bacteria or a virus hears a frequency and it destroys itself without hurting any other cells around it. If you need to support your body in that way, there's a frequency here that can help. Sometimes it's a symptom that you look at, sometimes it's homeopathics. I had gotten into a car accident back in December. And just, immediately when I got home, I had, energy healing supporting me. I had a lot of resources of people I know that could help me. Even though I know how to do energy healing, I was kind of in a state of extreme stress. So I had people working on me, but I had a good friend of mine who used my AO scan to help create a list of frequencies, which she just labeled as post-accident. And so she was sending me the homeopathics for arnica, for pain and for different things. And so we can actually create a playlist based on symptoms. And so that's where, I don't know, it's down here somewhere, post-accident. And so she created this list and sent me all of these frequencies to just one after the other to support my body in that time of where I was in a trauma state, and helped move me in a healthier direction after something like that happened. So there's endless possibilities when and to me the Cephi area allows you to take what you learn from the inner voice and support your body with something else while you're getting your chiropractic done, while you're finding your trace minerals. I often embed the frequencies into water that I drink. So not only do I broadcast it to myself, but I imprint it into water. Some people imprint frequencies into jewelry or patches and things like that. It gives you the power to understand your body in a new way, to have support through the sound and vibrations by listening to the balancing harmonics, and then, being able to take that information and make the best health choices you can make for your own body. And there's just so many ways that it can impact wellness in whether that's listening to the music or sending a frequency or taking a homeopathic, wearing the colored glasses. I mean, the light, sound, everything is energy, everything is vibration. And this gives you this wonderful picture to me, it's really practical. It's a lot to unpack when you look at those reports. Like you said, this is the second time or so that you've heard it, and it's impacting you more this time. But it's also something that you don't have to figure it all out. You don't have to understand it all. You can simply do a voice scan, listen to the music, the harmonizing frequencies, and experience it for yourself. And so it's just something that if you want to explore, you're curious about. I'm always willing to give, one free demo scan to anybody so you can try it for yourself. And experience it for yourself. So you can reach out to me for that. As well as if it's something that you want to learn more about, then it's a subscription that you can get as well. And I can guide and support people on how to approach it. And I kind of, beyond just subscribing, I'm here to be a supportive person as you start using it and kind of create your personal protocol of how to implement AO scan in your daily life.
I'm really fascinated by all of this, obviously. That's why I wanted to have you on. And I hope that the listeners found this fascinating as well. And I will put in the description below Kate's website. And do you have a different URL for people to do that free scan?
Yes, I do. I have my business is Rebalance with Kate. And if you do Rebalance with Kate /AO scan, then you'll be directed to where you can input your information and get one free scan from me. And you'll get your balancing harmonics emailed to you. If you want to reach out for a personal phone call to kind of review things, I'm happy to do that as well. So.
Okay, perfect. And I'll have all that information down in the description. And Kate, what a pleasure having you on today. I knew this was going to be so interesting for people. And I hope all of you have enjoyed this as much as I have. And we will see you next time. Thank you all. And thank you again, Kate.
Thank you.